Hello, brains. I've been wanting to do this episode for a long, long time. I have thoughts about how ADHD is represented in the media. I'm around a lot of people with ADHD on a regular basis, and I can tell you that what it's like in terms of lived experience of people with ADHD and what ADHD is portrayed as in the media are often two very different things. So I just wanted to watch some clips of ADHD being portrayed in the media and react to them. I'm nervous already. Oh God, it's gonna be so bad. Or maybe it's good. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's shows now and I just haven't seen them. We'll see. I've seen this show. I've auditioned for this show.
I'm bored.
You said you wanted my help.
Can we draw boobs on the chalkboard?
We did that already.
No, like really big boobs.
All right, I already have a problem with this. The problem with this that I'm seeing already is that this person is playing Neil Patrick Harris. What are you doing? He's playing somebody with ADHD as if this person is not ashamed of having ADHD, as if they haven't gone their whole life being told it's inappropriate to say these things, as if they aren't masking, which most of us do. Most of us are not going to be this obviously impulsive and this obviously silly unless we know that it's safe and we're accepted for it. I mean, in the acting world, they would call this on the nose. It's too on the nose.
How do you spell blah, blah, blah? H's or no?
Wow, you were just like the worst student in the world, weren't you?
They said I had AD something. Can we have class outside?
Okay, yeah. Not only is this character unabashedly doing all of the things that are stereotypically ADHD, but the professor just labeled him a bad student. I think my biggest problem with this is it's almost like he doesn't know it's inappropriate. And the truth is, we often do. We often know that we're interrupting people. We often know that we're saying things that are maybe contextually inappropriate. And so the fact that he's doing all of this without any masking, without any shame, that he's being labeled bad, it almost seems like this behavior is intentional as opposed to how his brain is wired and he's fighting against it, you know? It bothers me so much that this is on television.
Mr. and Mrs. Simpsons.
I think what we have on our hands here is a classic case of fear of failure. As a result, Bart is an underachiever, and yet he seems to be proud of it.
Okay. The thing about being proud of it. So sometimes ADHD students will actually embrace the fact that they are the bad student or the class clown or whatever, because after a lifetime of being corrected and constantly failing at trying to meet expectations, they might lean into it. It's a way of accepting, this is who I am, this is how the world sees me, so you know what? I'll just have to be fine with it.
Crippling as it may be, I'm afraid my recommendation is for Bart Simpson to repeat the 4th grade.
What? You can't hold me back. I'll do better, I promise.
Oh, sure, that'll be the day.
No, I mean it. He can't hold me back. I swear I'm gonna do better. Look at my eyes. See the sincerity? See the conviction? See the fear? As God is my witness, I can pass the 4th grade!
This is heartbreaking. This is heartbreakingly accurate that I'll just do better. I'll try harder, as if it's intentional, as if it's a matter of a lack of effort, when a lot of times it's really not. A lot of times ADHD students are working harder than their neurotypical peers, and they're not as effective because of all the challenges that we face. Yeah, this breaks my heart.
Hi there! What's your name? My name's Abernathy Darwin Dunlap, but you can call me ADD on account of the fact that I have ADD, which is attention deficit disorder. And, you know, everyone used to think it was just an addiction to sugar when I was 6, and my mom...
I already hate this. I already hate this portrayal. Again, there's absolutely no attempt to mask. I'm guessing these two don't actually know each other because he just introduced himself to somebody. And I have not met anybody with ADHD. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I've not met anybody with ADHD that is so visibly ADHD without trying to hide it at all in front of a complete stranger.
This is no longer a mental health facility. I'm so sorry we can't help you. Good luck to you, pal.
I don't need a hospital!
Also, they're making him...
Okay, what do you...
They're also making him manic, which is that's not what ADHD is. This also really bothers me because it's clear that this character only exists in this scene, like, as a joke. This person is just clearly a joke. And they kind of exist just for the other person to kind of roll their eyes at and be like, oh my God, you know, at least I'm not him. They're not treating him like a human. They're treating him like a caricature again.
Listen to these symptoms of ADHD and tell me it's not loose.
Alex,
Easily distracted by irrelevant stimuli.
Okay, I got excited for a second because I saw a girl walk in with a laptop going, listen to these symptoms of ADHD. And I'm like, oh, wow, they have like a female character portrayed with ADHD. Nope. Nope. She's diagnosing her brother, I'm assuming. That's disappointing.
Often impulsively abandons one task for another.
Okay, they're going the genetics route again.
A tendency to act without regard to consequences, often at the expense of personal safety.
We tend to be risk takers. Accurate. This is so relatable. There are so many times I've climbed on something that I really should not have climbed on. And I think the difference in this portrayal, he's not trying to seem ADHD. He's trying to get to the thing that he's trying to get to. And then all of these things happen along the way. Yeah, no, that was pretty good.
Our old nanny wrote a tell-all book about me.
Oh, no.
It's bad.
Tracy, we need to start doing damage control on this. What does she reveal in the book?
Everything. My addiction to prescription glasses. The fact that I suffer from attention deficit disorder. Jack, your shoes are shiny.
No.
And worst of all, she revealed the...
We can finish a word. Come on. Okay, I want to point out that a lot of shows do this. If you are a showrunner, do not do this, please, for the love of everything that is good and holy. Where the person with ADHD only exhibits ADHD symptoms in the exact sentence where they're talking about their ADHD and no other time. Why? We don't only have ADHD when we're talking about our ADHD. We have ADHD all the time, and probably when we're talking about our ADHD, we're real self-conscious about it, and that's the time we're trying to hide it.
If I wrote a blog about my job and anyone at work ever read it, I mean, hello. On top of which, the whole idea of writing a blog is to get away from what I do all day. The way that cooking is a way that I get away from what I do all day.
I love playing the game of, like, which person are they portraying as having ADHD? It's a fun game.
I'll cook my way through the Julia Child cookbook and write a blog about it. But I'll probably need a deadline.
Why?
Let's face it, I never finish anything.
Hey.
Well, it's true. You know why I think it is? ADD.
You have ADD?
Yes. That's why I'm so bad at housework.
This one's interesting. Like, she said she had ADD, but like, and the words said it, but like, I don't get my ADHD spidey senses tingling on this one. But that's kind of valid because a lot of women have more internalized presentations of ADHD, and you wouldn't think that they had ADHD. If this character has ADHD, I would say she's learned to mask so well that we can't even see it, which is interesting. But she's with somebody who she's in bed with, so I wouldn't expect her to mask that hard in front of them. Yeah, I haven't seen the full movie, so I don't know for sure. Just going off the one clip, I don't see anything that makes me feel like this character actually does have ADHD. That doesn't mean she doesn't. I'd be curious to see the rest of the movie, but this to me honestly came across as a neurotypical person talking calmly about how they've been diagnosed with ADD. I want to say I've seen the entire Kimmy Schmidt series. I loved the show. I have a feeling I know which episode this is, and I have a feeling I don't like it.
Parkour attack! How are you feeling, sweetheart? The label on your, special candy said you'd be much calmer by now.
Special candy, please, parents, tell your children what it is that they're taking, because they're the ones who have to manage their brain. And eventually, you're gonna have to tell them, because ADHD is not something that kids generally grow out of. And so by hiding their diagnosis from them, not telling them what is actually being done to treat it, a lot of kids end up being really resentful of that and resistant to actually treating their ADHD later on.
I am gonna make that into a water slide. This is my structure. You're on fire. Yeah. Ah!
Oh my. I forgot how bad this was.
Mother, may I please go again?
Okay. Ooh. ADHD medication is not meant to turn children into compliant zombies. If somebody is blunted in affect, is essentially what it is, where they're not themselves anymore, their personality is completely dimmed by the medication, that is the wrong medication or the wrong dose of medication. It is not supposed to do that. This is incredibly, incredibly harmful because it perpetuates a narrative that is inaccurate, that ADHD meds are meant to replace parenting. Her kid doesn't need discipline. He needs discipline. As if discipline would be a replacement for medication. It's not. And in fact, ADHD kids tend to respond more poorly to punishment. The carrot and the stick. We respond really well to carrots. We respond really well to praise. We respond really well to immediate positive feedback. We actually don't really respond well to punishment. And so this idea that, you know, that you should punish your kids or that you should discipline your kids and like then your ADHD kid will be, I don't know, neurotypical. It's really inaccurate. It's really harmful. And the idea that this medication is an alternative to discipline is so bad, and is why a lot of parents get shamed or feel ashamed as if they're taking the easy way out for treating their child's medical condition when they should be supported in that. I really like this show. I hate this episode. All right, full disclosure, I know this show.
How we looking?
I love this show.
My first impression is that you have a debilitating spending problem.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, you have 6 massage chairs.
Well, they don't make a massage couch.
Okay, but you also have 3 turntables.
Ooh, yeah. I'm learning how to spin. All I have are my grandma's old klezmer records, and I still haven't quite figured out how to sync up the beats, but it's not bad, right?
All right. Excessive, but yeah, impulse spending is definitely something that people with ADHD do, and I definitely have multiples of things I probably do not need multiples of. So for the sake of comedy, it's heightened, but I will give them this. And I know in another episode, Jake mentions that he has a bathtub full of bills that he hasn't opened, and I think that was the moment where I laughed and I was like, yeah, this character clearly has ADHD.
This is so unfair. I've lived in this building 15 years, and then all of a sudden they decide they're going co-op with 0 warning?
It seems illegal they didn't tell you this was happening.
Well, it's possible I missed a letter, but I doubt it. Ooh, let's check the mail tub.
Mail tub?
Nope. No.
Okay, there it is, the mail tub.
See?
Yeah.
It's impossible to find anything in here.
Yep.
It's not my fault.
I often talk about my paper monster, and my paper monster keeps growing, and then I deal with it, and then it starts growing again, where it's just like all the mail that I just don't want to open just goes in a pile until it's overwhelming and it grows eyes and scary teeth. I really like this portrayal of ADHD in the media. I don't know if they even ever say that he has ADHD, but so many of the struggles are so relatable and familiar that I'm like, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose you, but you have ADHD. And that's actually something I would like to see. I'm seeing a lot of like, we're saying the person has ADHD, but it's an absolute caricature, or we're not saying the person has ADHD, and it's actually a pretty good representation. I'm not seeing a lot of both, and I would like to. I would like for there to be characters on TV that talk about their ADHD that also clearly have ADHD. Like, one of the things that I like about Jake Peralta in that show is he's treated with respect by his peers. The fact that he has ADHD doesn't mean that he's less than or a failure. He's actually quite successful at what he does, but he does struggle. The impairments are real, and you get to see the extent of those impairments. And I think that we need more of that on television. I only saw one woman in this entire show that had ADHD. I saw no girls. I saw one woman, again, didn't really come across to me as ADHD. Just because somebody doesn't look ADHD doesn't mean they don't have it. But in a situation like that where she's in bed with the person that she loves, I wouldn't expect her to mask to that extent. Doesn't mean she doesn't, but you know, I would like to see some visibly ADHD characteristics in characters that are identified as having ADHD. As common as ADHD is in the general population, I'm really surprised that we don't have more of that. Thank you to my brain advocates and all my Patreon brains. My lovely creative director now has the time to do this because we're hopefully about to hire her on full time. And that's thanks to your support. Like, subscribe, click all the things, and I will see you next video. Bye, brains.